Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something interesting from my friends at Banggood. I have the brand new ISDT 608 AC dual power charger. This runs off DC and AC input. Let's get inside, see what we got. So, pretty herky box. We have a instruction manual, which is kind of nice. Got some ISDT and Batgo stickers. And inside here we have some foam feet for the charger. And we have our AC cable with, well that ain't gonna work out for me. So apparently they sent me one with a Euro plug, but fortunately this end is pretty common. Let me get right back to you.
A few moments later.
And also we have, of course, the charger itself. And this thing, initially, I could tell, is a brick. This thing is really dense. There's some heft to her. Now, the neat thing about the 608 AC is you have this top portion here, which is a AC to DC power supply. And it's modular. It has little tracks that it slides together on, which is kind of neat. It's a very interesting design. So a little bit of history here is the very first charger that ISDT made, and I'm pretty sure it's the first charger they ever made, was a 608. And I still have one. I love this charger. This is my my travel charger. This thing sits in my glove box in my car. I have a little 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter for it, and a trailer hitch adapter. This has been just a workhorse of a battery charger. It works great. Not a lot of frills to it. It's definitely a discontinued product of ISDT's, but now we have the 608 AC. So one of the things that's notable is you can power it off DC, like say a Lipo, like so. And there's that typical ISDT interface that we're all used to seeing. Or you can power it from the external power supply that comes with it. So this will convert it'll convert AC power to DC power so that you don't need to source your own DC power supply. So let's go ahead and plug this thing in. And there you go. The functions aren't different than any other ISDT charger. One thing that is a little different is it has a destroy mode, which is intended to completely pull all the power out of your battery. Say you're trying to throw it out or recycle it, you're going to want to use the destroy function. And it also has a DC power function as well, where it'll basically just be a DC power supply, which is very useful for bench testing. But you do need to be careful that you don't short your leads together. This thing, I've heard, does have internal resettable protection, so you shouldn't have to worry about burning any fuses up, but I can't confirm that without actually digging into it. You can adjust the output voltage from 30 volts down to 2. And the output current 0.2 amps up to 5 amps. And turn the output on, and there it goes. It's going to start providing constant voltage. And if you long press, you can change some of the system settings like lowest input voltage, which for this guy, doesn't seem like I could change that, which is a little weird. So it comes up, it says AC 50 watts. I don't know if you saw that. Let's plug that in one more time. AC 50 watts. But if we plug in a Lipo or some other DC power supply, what does it say? It says DC 200 watts. How does it know that I'm powering off AC versus DC? Well, pretty simple. ISDT, they use what's called Batgo technology, and that's what this third little prong is here on this XT60 connector is for bat-go technology. So inside this power supply, there's information written to it that is passed to the charger that says, hey, I'm only capable of 50 watts and X amount of volts. So that's why when you go into your system settings here, you can't adjust it anything lower than 17 volts or the max input power, anything other than 55 watts. It's because this charger is smart enough to know what this power supply is capable of. It's a pretty neat little feature, and that's what bat-go technology is kind of all about. Now, I did find a bug earlier where if, I couldn't change this. If I disconnect the power supply and plug it back in, it would allow me to change this, but since then I've updated the firmware on this and they've corrected that bug. So that is pretty neat. But what's also nice is that on DC power, you can change your lowest input voltage down to 10 volts. Now what this means is we can use this in our cars. Since your car is most likely 12 volts, unless you've got something else going on. Almost all vehicles I know of have 12 volts as far as accessory power goes. And your max power input range can be up to 230 watts. And your lowest input volt on this is 10 volts at a minimum. So we can use this in a car as kind of an away travel charger, which is really, really convenient. So this charger is basically what you would think it would be. 2 to 6S, XT60 connectors, built-in power supply, really nothing super special about it other than the fact that it does have its own built-in AC power supply. Now, as far as weight goes, they weigh about the same this way, but this power brick has got some heft to it, and it does make it a pretty hefty option. But what other options do we have? Say you're using this as a travel charger. Well, you've got this, but you need to have your own external DC source. The other option is something like the Hoda or the HobbyMate D6 Pro Duo, because this will do AC and DC power, and is dual channel. But the form factor is quite large. I think that this one would probably pack down in your bag a lot easier than this guy would. It's just a lot more mass to it. But then again, you're down to only having one channel of charging. It's kind of a mixed bag which one you would like to go with. Personally, I would probably suggest going with this because this guy is a lot more expensive than the 608 AC. The HobbyMate and the Hoda D6 Pro Duos are more than twice what this costs. So you've got some options to weigh out there. This does have a nice little inductive charger on the top of it, but not many people really use that. Honestly, I don't really know which one is the better choice. That's kind of up for you to decide. I really think this is a good charger. This is definitely a good charger. I've used this one a ton. This guy is super reliable, but again, not available anymore and DC only. ISDT does have a few new models out that kind of refresh the lineup. I do like the destroy function. If you're using bat-go batteries, which I don't know anybody that does, this is going to do bat-go. This is not. The power output is also different between these two. This is only on AC mode. I'm talking AC mode here. This is only 50 watts. This is 200 watts. A lot more power inside of this guy. That's why it's also much, much bigger. 200 watts of power. On DC mode, only 200 watts. This one is 650 watts. So these are some of the options you need, or some of the things you need to weigh out when you're deciding which charger to buy. If you're looking for strictly a travel charger, you're going to throw it in your bag. It's going to get beat up. It's going, you're taking it abroad, flying with it, whatever. Honestly, I'd say that for packing light and packing small, this is probably going to be the one I would go with. Now, when I go to the field, normally we have power there. I typically take this just so I can run 2 packs But if you're traveling, I don't think rapidly charging a ton of packs is typically what people need to do. And if that's the case, you can buy 2 of these for less than one of those. I don't know, something to think about. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. If you're interested in this product or this one, please check out the links in the video description below. Those would really help me out. It helps bring in more product to the channel. If you haven't liked or subscribed, go ahead and do that. I really appreciate it. If you really want to help me out, head over to my Patreon page. I do early release videos. I do product giveaways monthly. I just do them over there. You don't actually have to be a Patreon member, but that's where I do all my giveaways instead of in YouTube, where leaving more than one comment kind of screws things up. So anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking us out. And as always, keep flying. Bye.